everybody, and thanks for tuning in for another episode of Inside the Cougar Cavern. And today I have Sergeant Loeslein. Ma'am, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Sergeant Leslein. I am your UFPM. Some of you know me more than others if I've made you suffer in a workout. And if not, you've heard my name in comic books as Superman's girlfriend. So whatever you have, whatever you have about me, they're probably true.
Nice. Do you refer to your husband, the awful duck, as Superman ever? Like, does he?
No, but for a while, I did try to convince him to change his last name to Clark Kent. So it would just be funny, but no, he likes Spider-Man. He's not a Superman fan, so he wasn't willing to humor me very, very much on that.
What a shame. And proves why cougars are better than ducks. All right, let's go. What is something that your friends wouldn't believe is true about you?
That's a good question because I'm pretty squirrely, and I feel like if you give them 10 seconds, they could picture me in almost any scenario. That I was going to take a job as a paralegal.
Oh. You
Too
were?
much paper, too much sitting down, too many blues. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Too serious.
So is that something you were offered and denied, or is that something you're like, I'm going to do this, and then it just didn't work out?
So in my year-long retraining adventure so far, I've had to really weigh how much I want to stay in the Air Force based off of what's offered on the retrain advisory list and what has larger chances of me getting picked up. For instance, if I wanted to be security forces, I could stay in, no problem. Paralegal is another one that's usually they're asking for people, but both of those are
low on your list, right?
Pretty low.
I will say, so as you can imagine, in my job, both previous first sergeant experience and then just all first sergeant experience interact quite often with security forces and paralegals. And one thing that I believe, and I've heard many chief first sergeants say as well, is contrary to popular belief, enlisted paralegals in the Air Force work more and harder than any other enlisted person. Like, I get it, it's not physical labor, but the amount of hours that those poor airmen put in is just like, and then
it's
security.
A lot of reading paperwork, like that's their job, and I'm not interested.
No, me neither. And that's why they work so much, is no one's interested. They're like, no, you do it. And I love all of my defenders that I met and know from Korea, but yeah, it's a completely different lifestyle. I think I would have liked it early on, like maybe for 4 years, and then that's it. Then move on to something else. All right. If your childhood had a smell, what would it be?
Sunscreen and bug spray.
I love it.
It's still what I smell like during
I hear him.
Yeah, so my husband hates the smell of DEET, but it kind of comes along with my existence. I can walk outside for 30 seconds and come inside with 5 mosquito bites, and so it's not a life I like. So I wear sunscreen and bug spray a lot. My mom she's had like small skin cancer removed. I don't know if you can tell, I'm fair-skinned, freckles, a lot of sun damage.
Yeah.
So sunscreen's like my go-to. I understand that my complexion is a weakness to the sun.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, and had a pretty hilarious conversation with the commander about the same thing. And so my kids just got back from a visit to grandma's house, and my daughter and I are both, we give off, I'm not sure what it is, but the greatest pheromones and attractants to any biting animal or like insect in the universe, and are completely like allergic to whatever it is. So like same thing. Like I think hard enough about going outside, I'll have 6 mosquito bites on me. Like I don't even have to step outside, I don't think. And then the sunscreen, same thing. So all those go down the list from the dermatologist of all the like the high risk factors for skin cancer. Red hair is the only thing I'm missing, but everything else, man. I come in 2 colors, sour cream or lobster. That's it. So that's what my childhood smells like. That's what my kids' childhood smells like. That's what I usually smell like anytime it's like decent weather outside. So I
My
can
version
smell it just talking about it.
is when my freckles come in
Start to
so
connect.
just merge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my tan. So
I feel you.
and I lifeguarded for almost a decade, and I never got that dark.
No. Yeah, no, me neither. And then my husband, he's his family's Serbian, and he's got this wonderful skin where, like, much like me thinking about going outside, I get bug bites. He thinks about going outside and he's like instantly tan. And he's like, this sunscreen and bug spray stuff makes no sense to me. I'm physically weak. Oh, I like this one because this one strikes me as something that you probably have many of because you're such a daredevil, crazy person. Which
Ooh.
one of your scars has the best story behind it?
That is a good one. My favorite scars are the ones that I don't realize I have until someone asks me about them. I'm like, good question. Don't know where I got that. But I think one is on my knee, and it comes from softball. It was sliding into third base, and I just jacked my legs up. And I just like the idea of finishing that inning with like blood running down my legs, and people are like, you want to like step out? We can put a runner in. I'm like, no, don't you dare. I'm going to get this run. Okay. Otherwise, the only other one I can remember distinctly having an event was when we were riding our bikes, me and my brother, to go pick up our report cards from middle school. And there's this very steep hill. And I, for some reason, didn't want to ride my bike in the road. I was like, no, I'm going to ride it on the sidewalk. And my brother's like, I'm telling you, don't do that. And I'm like, no, because if mom drives by and catches us in the road, like, that's it, game over. We're grounded for the rest of summer. And so he goes flying down on the road, and he's perfectly fine. And I go down on this jaggedy sidewalk, and I just flip my bike, catch myself with my face, and the school nurse was at the school, and I just like brokenly walked my bike the rest of the way and like walk in to get my report card, and the nurse gasps at the sight of me, and she's like, come with me, we need to address this. And I was like, there was blood and dirt all over my shirt.
Like, no, I'm on a mission. I need my report card. Get out of my way.
Report card, please. She's like, I'm gonna call your mom. Like, no, don't do it. But I had a pretty good shin scar from that too, just sliding down this steep hill on my palms and knees.
Ouch.
Good time.
I like it. So I'm a avid softballer as well, and I don't know if it was intramurals on base or one of the county leagues around here, but I totally I got hit in the face when we were warming up. I just like looked away just long enough to just catch a softball right to my lip, and it was bleeding profusely, and I'm pretty sure I lost consciousness, but we needed me to play because otherwise we'd have to forfeit. So I remember playing, and I remember the umpire kept telling me I had to leave the field and control the blood, that you couldn't be actively bleeding while on the field. And I was so mad.
The Alpha Warrior course 2 summers ago now, I think. Me and a couple of buddies went out to Andrews when they bring the rig out, and you can try to compete, and they're going to take the best Air Force people, get a chance to go on American Ninja Warrior, and that is our jam. That's what we do. And I go out there, and it's a very hot rig, and so our hands are peeling and bleeding, and I get down, and they catch me checking my hands, in between obstacles, and they stop me and they come over and they're like, "Are you bleeding?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's not a big deal." They're like, "You can't be actively bleeding on the course. We have to stop it." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I go, and then they stop my time and start running the next person, and I'm like, "Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna just like
Get a
catch
chance to control my bleeding. Like, let me control my bleeding.
And so, but luckily I had gone first. So then my husband and it was Sergeant Booker also knew. So they're like, okay, now we know. They just can't know we're bleeding. And so both of them made it to the end of the course, and we have a photo of our destroyed hands. Like there's blood everywhere. And like it's just the three of us with our bloody hands in a photo. We're like, yep. But I had to be the one to know that they couldn't look at their hands. They had to pretend like nothing was happening.
There's no bleeding here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's the photo.
Oh, rough.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That one doesn't scar. Hand skin comes back really fast,
Yeah.
but that's my favorite wound, I guess.
I like it. You should be proud of that one. And forget them for worrying about your active bleeding.
Right? I mean, biological hazards. What are you talking about?
Stop everything. Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever. Like there's pathogens and whatever. All right, one last question. If you could make a 20-second phone call to yourself at any point in your life, past or future or present, when would you call and what would you say?
So I like thinking about timelines. And one thing that I can't do is interrupt my past, because enlisting when I did is the only way I met my husband. And I'm not willing to give that up to make anything else in my life better. That's it. So I think it'd be fun to leave a voicemail for myself in the future. Probably like talking about my turtle story, or just remember this one time when you brought the squadron commander out to go look for a turtle and Chief's yelling at you across the street, asking you where it is, and you have a group of people and no one knows what you're talking about, and that's the memory they have of you. Yeah. I'm just not letting you live that down.
I love it. Well, I'll save this and we'll make sure you have the link. So future self, whether at your retirement or something else, I'm going to play this clip and be like, remember that time? Because I'll want to remember it, because I'm super mad I missed it, because I can hear Chief just yelling, and I can imagine him yelling at you and me. What are you doing?
Yeah. So.
Love it. And I'm like you. Whatever happened, but whatever happened got me to exactly where I am right now. And the absolute terror of changing, like the butterfly effect, changing one thing and redirecting the course of my existence would be really sad, because I'm sure there are, scenarios in a parallel universe that would have turned out maybe better, but man,
yeah,
I love
maybe better, maybe great, but I like the one I'm in right now.
I was gonna say I love what I've got, so let's screw that up. Awesome. Well, that's it. So now I'm turning it over to you. Words of wisdom, parting thoughts, whatevs.
Miss that, man?
It sounded like a buzzer. It doesn't even sound like a duck.
No, it doesn't. I guess my parting wisdom is don't forget to have fun. I think a lot of times we take ourselves too seriously. Clearly not in this
Not
household.
us.
Not us. But yeah, if you can get along with the people around you and make each other laugh, I promise it'll make even the worst shop, the worst schedule, a little bit better.
Spot on. I love it. And even that weird dying duck sound that happened in the background.
I'm embarrassed.
You should be. All right. Thanks, Sergeant Loeslein. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, man.